G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsaiworx. Today I've got another Shimpaku I want to look at. This has featured in my videos a number of times in the last year or two. I've actually taken quite a few air layers off this tree. There were some branches at the front of this tree. You can see now there's some gins there, and there's some big wound here. They all represent areas that I air laid off. Then I kind of did an initial wiring up of the tree just to fan it out and see what we can find in the tree. You can see there's a lot of wire in the tree if you have a close look. But now it's more of it's paddy season to recover, grow. Now let's look at refining. I'm not going to necessarily take the wire off this tree. I want to actually have a look at it. I think the wire looks okay. It's not really cutting in everywhere. We're not cutting in much in some places. So it could probably stay on another 6 months to a year. But what I want to actually look at is restyle or actually leaving the wire on and just restyling the branches, moving in better positions, taking some things off, maybe flagging some things that need to be air laid in the coming months when winter finishes and spring comes. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm going to look at today with this tree and see if it actually improves. In the meantime, as I always do, you know it, our exhibition is coming up, and my club's exhibition is coming up 15th, 16th of May in 2021 in Footscray. If you're in Melbourne, Victoria, don't miss it. I'll have lots of, if you're on social media, there'll be lots of stuff coming out soon promoting this event. So I'm hoping to see many of you there. Come say hello. I'm there the whole weekend, of course. I'm the president of the club, so I'll have to be there. But come say hello, embarrass me. I go very bright red when you guys all come up to me. It's quite fun. So all good, so make sure you're there. Alright guys, so that's the promotion doing out of the way. I know you guys love me doing that, but anyway, we'll have to have a look. The initial front, the front I had chosen is in there, and it is probably the best. You probably see it's the best Nabari. It's got the best movement, so it's a really good front, and I like the front, and I'll keep it there. Now it's a matter of let's go and explore all the branching and work my way up. Now really you start with the first branch and you start to assess, okay, I might have to position this in the right angle, so I knew I had a block here, and I think I tilted it a little bit. I know it will come forward eventually, but I just want to braise it up so you can probably, oh no, probably can't see the Nabari. It's pretty good, but we'll work on that. So you want to start with always the first branch. And you can see in this case, this first branch here is actually in here, but it's starting to have all this lower hanging foliage. Things are growing down, things are growing this way, that way, everywhere. And there's actually quite a few branches in there. Now we should try and thin out some things and then just keep working on it. So all I'm going to do is look at the branch. Remember, clean everything that's going down, or you can wire it up. It's up to you. Anything that's in a crotch and is growing in a crotch, let's pluck that out. And anything that's really shot out, I'm going to reduce back. And then I'm going to fine wire it. So let's do a kind of a before look at this branch in here. There's actually quite a few branches that make this up. It's about that much. And let's have a look what it looks like afterwards. Hopefully it improves it. But I don't want to sit there. It's really just going through that process. Now there's no much point. I'll go away, do the work, and then we'll come and look what it looks like. So we'll follow the same process. There's a video on my YouTube that shows you how to make pads. So have a look at that one. It's how to make juniper foliage pad. That's all I'm going to do. Follow, fan them out, spread them out, and create a pad with it. So let me go away and do that, and let's see what it looks like. Just quickly showing you probably can't really tell too much, but this one first branch down here, if you can see that has been nicely layered. It's only one branch, but I've created multiple different layers and pads with different branches along the main branch. So there's a main branch and there's lots of secondary branches and tertiary branches that you use to create those levels. So there's, as I mentioned to you earlier, the main issue is there's all this foliage at the back. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with all that. Whether I'm going to use it all, cut it off, or leave it to layer off in the coming early spring time, late winter. So at the moment we're only in autumn here in Melbourne, so a bit different from the Northern Hemisphere guys, rolling to your spring. So, well, for me so there's a lot of foliage, way too much. And that's one of the main issues right now. But we'll see what I can use to tweak. So I'm just going to keep going and maybe just try and create another pad in here, and then look at what I'm going to do on this side here, what I'm going to use here and keep. And then I'll look at the back and how they can fit in and structure it before moving on. So it's a step-by-step process. You do a bit at a time. I mean, I don't have countless hours to spare, unfortunately, so I do a bit each day kind of thing and work my way through the tree. But yeah, I like the front, I like the idea, I like the front that it's there, somewhere around there, looks good, and we'll work with that. Alright, be back later. Okay everyone, so just a quick another update. I've completed pretty much the bottom half to the middle. You can see all that's all layered, all nicely layered. And I've dealt with the back. Now you can see there's a toward now I'm at the apex. So all this needs to be wired, contorted down, twisted around, and put in place. So it's going okay. It's not too bad. It's got the layering. It's going to be a bit of time to develop all this. It'll be good over the next few years. And towards the back, I did reduce it a bit. Still a little bit long in the back. In this section, you can see it's a little bit long. Or is it the right section? Yeah, that section. But it isn't too bad. Not as bad as it was before. So we're getting there. Trying to get through it. So there you go. But now I'm up to the apex, so I'm going to be all wiring all that up and twisting it all up and bending it into place. So that's the plan. I won't cut anything, pretty much nothing of that top will be cut off. It will just be contorted and twisted into shape and bend down, etc. So hoping to finish this soon, and I'll show you the final product. Okay everyone, so I finished wiring up the whole tree and placing everything in its spot, and that's pretty much the front of the tree. You can see right there. Definitely nice looking tree, nice looking bonsai. It looks very it's got a nice like fullness to it, which is really cool, but it's got this huge canopy, a really wide canopy, which I really like. It gives it that age look. It's not as doesn't have as much deadwood as you want on a juniper, but for now I think some of the keys are, the nice, and the baris are beautiful. The full canopy looks really nice. I have tried to shorten a lot of the back area as well. There is some nice spaces in between here as well, which probably need to fill out a little bit in time. Maybe we can drop this one down into there. I just noticed that, but it's really nicely refined and styled. Pads are nice and getting there. A lot more development in terms of growth this tree needs. It needs to fill out a lot more. I've still got quite a bit of little twigs that are hanging down that I need to go through and pluck out. Just the ones that are going down, I'll pluck them off. But all the pads are kind of set. There's lots of pads around the place, which is good. Not sure how much more I would reduce this tree in terms of width. I like the fullness rather than pointiness. You get a lot of pointy looking trees. I like the fullness of this. It gives it much more, when it's broader, it looks like the tree's been growing for a lot longer, without having the dead wood to really show off how old it is. So if you had lots of dead wood, you can actually go, yeah, that's an old tree. This one is more around, the canopy is really wide, but it's short and it's really wide, meaning if you expand this out in nature, it will look humongous. It will look quite a big tree. If this was more of a taller apex, it would look younger. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I hope that makes sense. But by having that broadness, that width, and broadness in it, it makes it look like those huge trees on a hillside somewhere. I think you know what I mean. When it's nice and big and broad, really looks old. And that's what I tried to achieve here. And that's all done through wiring, compress the apex right down. The apex is made of this branch, it cascades like this. There's a few other ones that have been brought down and cascaded and bent down. I'll keep an eye on the wire. I think I just have to look out for the wire cutting in on some of the areas. This is kind of the second styling of this tree, because I did an initial one about a year ago or less, and then now this is the second iteration of that. I'm hoping it gets into its final kind of iteration next, but I'm going to give it time to recover. So anyway guys, that's enough me talking, and I hope to see you guys at the exhibition coming up on the 15th and 16th of May 2021 in Melbourne, and I'll see you there hopefully. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.